Hello YouTube and the internet. This is DZMaven coming back to YouTube and trying out something a bit different. I've always been a big fan of Gundam model kits, usually known as Gunpla. Here I have the 144th Astray red frame, real grade, and I'm going to do a review and build of this. For your information, real grades refer to the level of detail and articulation a kit will have. In this case, all real grades have inner frames. You can see it on the side of the box right here. It's really quite fascinating how it's all molded together as mostly one piece, yet it acts as an inner skeleton, allowing for an amazing range of motion. In this case, the red frame is aptly named so because the frame is, well, red and white. You can see, kind of like a candy cane. So let's open this up and see what's inside. Alright, so all the parts come on runner trees, if you're not familiar with this. Here we have the decal sheet, right on the front here. Lots of decals with real grade kits. And right here is the advanced MS joint for the real grade Astray. And this is the inner frame here. As you can see, it's all molded in the white and black color, all on one runner. This is really quite fascinating to look at. And it all comes together as one piece here. You got their legs, chest pieces, and their arms, and even the hands. Let's see if we can get close there. These hands have individual finger joints too, so it's really quite tiny and articulate here. And going on, we have the blade for the Gundam straight blade. And if you look real closely here, I don't know if we can see it on the camera here, there is a signature on the tang of the blade, which is a really nice little detail on this here. And going further on, we have the rest of the runners. We have, this is kind of an off-white color. We have the beam blades, a little bit of red, and a little bit of clear green here. And this next pot, we have some red. We have our white, a little touch of gray, and this gold plastic color here. Not really a big fan of the gold plastic, but what can you do unless you're going to paint over it? But it is what it is. And this last little baggie here, we got some more red and the black pieces, which it's either black or it's dark gray, depending on how you look at it. Here. And at the bottom here, we have the instruction booklet. Gives you a little rundown of how to put it all together and everything. Some very nice pictures in here as well. It's a very high quality instruction booklet. Some nice details, diagrams on the motion of the inner frame and all. And a nice little location guide for all the decals. There's lots of decals on this. I like that. Gives me plenty to do, and there's some, at the bottom there's some flyer for some Gundam Tri-Fighters thing, whatever. And there's this card, which I think this is for parts replacement. But anyway, I'm going to get the inner frame together, and I will show that off in the next part of the video. And I will show off a little bit of how I do my build here. So I will see you then. Alright, and I'm back. So I've gone ahead now and I put the inner frame together, and here it is here. Let me just let you take a good look at it here. And you can see I got it all together here. Got a nice little, okay pose here. See if we can get the camera to focus on it. Maybe right about there. But yeah, this type of frame, a lot of mobility in it. As you can see here, the arms can go all the way up like that. You can turn them. Gotta make sure things don't get too out of whack here. This little rotation joint here is a little tight here. But the arms can bend all the way up like that. Around. And the torso, it's got a little bit of back and forth motion to it. Can go back and forth and pops in half. Yeah, this is one of the first flaws with the kit, but apparently I'm not the only one who notices this, but this little connection here, not very strong. It pops out very easily. So, yeah, but this can rotate around. It's got these little details for like pistons here. They kind of hang out like that. But, say like that. And we got the legs. They're a little stiff to move. They're a little stiff, sorry about that. A little bit of cough here. They're a little bit stiff to move here, but they can come all the way back like that. And I've noticed that if you try to bend the back, it gets kind of caught up right here. So you have to be really careful and kind of push that back in line. And then it should, yeah, it's supposed to go like that. For some reason it gets kinked up right there. I gotta be really careful not to break this. That'll be funny if I broke it on camera here. Nope. Yep, something's not right there. Oh wait, maybe it is back in place, is it? No, it's not. It's still not. I have to figure that out. But like I said, it does seem to kink up right here for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe it'll be better with the actual parts on there. And the feet. Get a close look here on camera. Feet can bend all the way back like that. It's got a little toe. And it can bend forward like that, and it pulls the back calf part back too, which is really nice here. And the armor will fit around all around this, and it'll kind of move around with the frame and everything. I did hear, there was one other complaint I heard about the frame, and that was that part of this hip section here. I haven't noticed it yet, but this is a very fragile area apparently on it. I haven't noticed anything yet on this, but I can kind of see why it would be a concern on this, because really there's only this little bit of plastic that's holding the leg on right there, and the whole weight of the mass of the leg is right there. And anytime you move and adjust it, it's going to stress that area. I can kind of see why that would be an issue. There is a joint here inside the hip, though. I'm not really sure why it's there, but apparently it can slide open a bit and back down. And of course we got the hands. See how well you can see that. But yeah, these are the typical real grade hands here. They have like a movable thumb, index finger, and the three fingers are together in one piece here. Again, you have to be careful with these parts because they're very tiny and they won't take a lot of stress. You can kind of curl them together into a fist. There's a little peg hole inside of them. That'll be for holding the weapons when we get to that part. But yeah, that's the inner frame. I did some very tiny details on it. I put this decals on it. There's one right there, and there's one at the elbow, and there's one on the very back here. I did some very minor panel lining on some of the details and on the hands. I don't know how well that's going to show up on the camera here. The camera doesn't want to focus on it very well. It's a little bright, but it's all there. But anyway, as for the panel lining, what I'd like to use are these here. And these are real touch markers. Now I kind of got the idea for using these because these are pretty close to the way I typically like to do panel lining. So I basically like to ink the lines up and then try and clean it off with alcohol or some other type of thinning agent to try and remove the excess. And these work great because these are alcohol soluble, and they come in enough decent colors. There's two sets, but for the colors I'm going to use for the Astray here, I'm going to use the black for the dark gray parts. I have this, this is kind of a bluish gray color, but this is going to be for the white parts. There's this kind of a dark yellow. I'm going to use this for the gold. And I have this dark maroon color, which I'm going to use for the red. So generally I try and steer away from using just black on all the parts, because this creates a little bit too much of a contrast if I use just the black by itself. So it's a good idea to kind of mix up the tones a little bit. It looks a little better this way. And what I use, Q-tips with a little bit of alcohol. I have a little pipette, but I keep alcohol in. And usually just put like, oh, a little bit came out right there. Usually put a little bit on a Q-tip. You don't have to put a lot. It doesn't have to be sopping wet. Just a couple drops or so is all you need on there. And that's really enough to just get rid of any excess ink you have on the panel lines. And here are some of the typical tools you would want to have on hand for working on Gunpla. You want to have a nice pair of snips. These are some good ones. They're pretty much for cutting the parts off the sprue, which you want to use, these sprue trees, which you want to use. And you can use these to help cut off big nibs and stuff like that. And of course you want to have a good sharp X-Acto knife, so you can actually clean the nibs off nicely and clean up any excess flash or the plastic you have. So what I got here is I have the parts for the Gundam Astray blade, the sword I mean, is all laid out here. It's kind of opened up to the instruction set, kind of explaining you how it all goes together here. So what I want to do here is kind of show you how I do this here. Then once that's done, I will make it him standing up again. Stand up. There we go. Skeleton standing up. Kind of want to show you how this works here with the real touch markers here. So like I said, for a white part, typically going to use this. Now there's two sides to this thing. There's the standard cap, which has sort of a really tiny nib. Most of the time I'm going to use the tiny nib, because this gets into the little crevices very easily. On the other side is more like a brush tip, a thick brush tip. And this is what you would use if you want to do weathering details. You can do weathering with these markers too. That's kind of what they originally were designed for. But you can do that, and then you can kind of smear the color around to kind of create some dirty weathering effects on the mecha here. But I don't really do that often. But let me go ahead and do this here. Make sure a camera is looking at it. So as you can see, don't have to do much. Just kind of marking where the area is and where the panel lines are. That's going to be kind of like this here. I'm going to get all the little crevices. And it's okay to go over the edges a little bit, because this is meant to be a little bit messy anyway. But the whole idea is to kind of go back over with the alcohol Q-tip and then get rid of all the excess, and then what will be left is the ink in all the very edges of the corners. Actually, I don't really have to do this edge because that's going to be covered up by the gold piece right there. And you have to be careful, it will get on your fingers. You want to make sure you get the details on the edges too. Here. This part's going to be covered up by the red piece there, so I don't really have to worry about that. And usually with a lot of these parts there's going to be a little crevice right on the inside edge. Sort of a separation of the parts I like to get. And we can kind of get in here, do that, Getting there. Oh, there's actually a lot of lines on here. Didn't think there was that many on here. Kind of want to keep this quick as I can, but it's taking me a little bit longer. We may just skip ahead to when I get this done here. Okay, it looks like I got everything on there. So, you go ahead and get that alcohol swab. This one's I already put a couple drops in there. It's still damp. So what we're going to do is just kind of go over it. Don't have to put a lot of pressure into this. Just going to go over it like that. Just enough to kind of get the excess ink off. Well, let's get this part of the top here. It will smudge around a little bit, but you know what, that's kind of okay. It does kind of give it a little bit of a weathered effect, because like I said, that's what these markers were meant for. And get this inside edge. And there we go. That is not hard to do at all. And this is actually better than black, because black would look like too much of a contrast here, so you have this light gray in there. It actually works a lot better on the white. So anyway, okay, I'm going to keep going and keep doing the rest of this, and when this is complete, I'll have the Astray here, and I'll talk about my likes and dislikes about it when it's done here. Alright, so I'll be back in a bit.